Welcome to Law Talk. I'm Matt Hamilton. Today we're telling you everything you need to know when you're going to Cass County Circuit Court in Harrisonville, Missouri. Cass County is the state court for the Cass County region, and it handles all types of cases, all the way from small ordinance violations to Class A felonies, murder, rape, the big stuff. It has its own jail at the sheriff's office, so you do risk jail time there. It levies fines. Remember a important point about the fines here. At a municipal court, you have a maximum fine of $225 per charge. State courts do not have that limitation. Their court costs are higher and more expensive. Their fines are higher and more expensive. For misdemeanors, they can be all the way up to $500. For felonies, they can be up to $5,000. So circuit court is more expensive. Also, it's a more formal environment. You are going through a security checkpoint, so no knives, no guns, leave those in the car. Also, important to remember, leave your cellular phone in the car. You cannot bring it into court if you're not an attorney or court personnel. Irrespective of whatever the excuse is, they're not going to let you pass security. Leave your phone, your computer, your laptop, your iPad in your vehicle. Save yourself the time. Speaking of time, arrive early. I'd say 15 to 30 minutes early for court. The reason for this is that in many courts, but not all in circuit court, but in many of them, the sooner you check in, the sooner your case is going to get called, the sooner you're out of there. You do not want to have a 9 o'clock court date and be waiting around till noon or 1 o'clock for your case to get called. So arrive a little bit early and be prepared. If you're in Division 5, it is often the case that that is called alphabetically, so it won't help you, but it won't hurt you to arrive early. Believe me, you don't want the judge to be angry with you for being late. They will hold lateness against you. Dress appropriately. Pretend you're going to church and you want to look more formal. That shows respect to the court. When the court recognizes that you are showing them respect, they're going to show you more deference. Remember, the idea is if you've got a criminal charge, don't look guilty. If you want to get the judge to side on your behalf, give a judgment that for whatever it is you're asking for, show him or her the respect, and they will show you a little bit more deference. The mistakes I see people make are men, for example, that are getting off work or going to work. They're wearing their work outfits into court. The fact that you have a job does not impress the judge. Okay? Don't show up dirty. The girls tend to dress a little bit too promiscuously, as if showing some skin will make them more likely to side for you. It's just the opposite. It makes them less likely. Don't look like a guilty person, okay, guys? Dress respectfully. Young people do not wear pajamas to court. I see people wearing pajamas and I wonder what they're thinking. This isn't your living room. Don't dress so casually that you can take it to bed. Dress up a little bit, all right? You don't need to wear a prom dress, but just as if you're going to church or a more formal occasion. They take several kinds of payments at Cass County Circuit Court. They can do credit cards, they can do checks, and they can do cash. Your payment's not going to be made actually in court itself, but rather at the circuit clerk's office, which is just on the right-hand side of the first floor. In many cases, for example, felony cases, you're going to get billed afterwards. So if you're going for final disposition of a felony case, you're not going to be paying that day. It's going to be billed to you later, so you don't have to bring in a whole bunch of money. For small items like traffic tickets, yeah, you will be billed that day. Okay? Continuances. Unlike other courts, Cass County Circuit Court will not give you an over-the-telephone continuance. The only way to continue a case is through the judge. So if your attorney files a formal continuance, they might get it ahead of time. If you do not have an attorney, you're going to have to ask the judge on your court date when you're before him. Attorneys, listen to me. If you're not used to Cass County Circuit Court, there's a nuance. Try to file your continuance the Friday of the week before your court date, at least 24 hours in advance, but get it on file by Friday beforehand. There are time requirements for the local rules in Cass County, And if you don't meet those on time, you won't get your delay and you're going to have to send yourself or somebody down. So think ahead, plan ahead for circuit court. Penalties, well, they can be for a misdemeanor up to a year in jail. For a felony, as high as that felony will go. It depends upon your charge. It is often the case, because Cass County will sentence you to jail, so watch out for that. Also, fines can go up to from $500 to $5,000, depending upon what you're doing. Probation is common out of Cass County Circuit Court, and there are several types of probation. There's supervised and unsupervised, and there is probations where you have lots of things to do and probations where you don't have lots of things to do. Let me give you an example. A supervised probation is where you are calling in or actually physically going in to see a probation officer every month. That's going to be a more formal type of probation. Unsupervised probation is simply you promising not to get arrested again for a period of 2 years or something similar to that. A probation with terms is something, for example, like a DWI charge, where you're promising to take the SATOP course, take the Victims Impact Panel, complete community service. For drug charges, sometimes there's an alcohol drug education class. Sometimes there's a shoplifting class. Other times there's community service. If there's a victim in your case, they'll often put you on probation and have you give money, restitution to the victims, and that will be a formal term. So it's a much more formal environment. If you're a personal injury victim, there's going to be, in all likelihood, in circuit court. But don't get tied down to what particular judge you're getting whenever you're assigned the case. It is not unusual for cases to get transferred between divisions to different judges as a case progresses. You may start with an associate circuit judge, and then later, as the case gets closer to trial, be transferred to, say, Division I or Division II, Judge Mike Wagner or Judge Bill Collins, for formal trial. And that's simply a division of workload that the presiding judge, Bill Collins, has done. So don't get tied down. They may not be your judge forever. Can you handle these matters yourself? In all likelihood, no. In some instances, people can be appointed a court-appointed free attorney, but two things have to be happening there. Number one, you have to be indigent, totally without the ability to pay for the court attorney. And then secondly, they have to be seeking jail time against you. So you don't want to be in a position where you're applying for a court-appointed attorney because you're facing jail time then. But that is a situation that does come up, and Cass County does actually have court-appointed attorneys. 99% of the time, though, people don't have one. What I would suggest is call an attorney who practices in Cass County. Not somebody from downtown Kansas City, not somebody from outstate, somebody that's from Cass County that knows the judges, that knows the court, and knows the people, and they will be able to tell you the most likely outlook and the most likely strategy that's going to help you out. Don't want to have somebody learning how to do your case as you go along, and you don't want to personally be guessing with your future. So don't delay. Don't procrastinate on this. And there's a reason for that. The sooner you get it done, the more likely that the strategy that winds up being employed will be successful. An attorney will want to potentially suppress evidence, get evidence from the other side, create a good impression for the judge, create a good impression for the prosecuting attorney. There's a limited amount of time in every case to do these things. So the sooner you get started, the more likely the evidence that will help you will get revealed, and the more likely the impression that you want to make will be strong enough to get the result you're looking for. And that's Cass County Circuit Court. If you have any more questions, feel free to give us a call. This has been Law Talk. I'm Matt Hamilton.